Welcome. I'm Diane Martin, your host and coach for the Digitally Sassy podcast, helping a community of female entrepreneurs DIY their business. I'll teach you how to build your online presence, show you how to save money, and give you the best ways to step in and rock your social media. Yes, you can DIY your business, and I'll show you how with plain language and doable strategies. Let's go. Hello, Sassy Gals. I am so glad you have joined me here today as I have made a huge decision, at least for me, and it totally makes sense in terms of what I want to do in the future with Digitally Sassy. So I wanted to share with you what my plans are, and it may be relevant what I have decided to do if you have been blogging for a while or trying to build a video channel or even podcasting. So let me give you a little bit of background first on this. When you begin working online in pretty much all areas like the videos, podcasts, blogging, etc., you generally are working quite diligently at building content. Because you're just started, you have lots of ideas and lots of content to share in the niche that you have chosen. And there are two, other reasons that initial content is really important. And the first one, and it's probably the most important, is for your SEO or for your search engine optimization. Lots of content means lots of opportunities for the search engines to find you. The other aspect is to establish your depth of knowledge on what your niche is and build your audience. And that building of audience and the SEO never officially end. But when you're starting from nothing, when you're just getting going online within, a project that you're working on, those are really key factors. And so you establish, a regular schedule. So either you're blogging 3 times a week, or like myself, I'm podcasting once a week. And that is great because that establishes some consistency. And if you need structure, it's really good to have that schedule. But there was something missing in what I was doing. And so I've been really quiet here lately because I've just been really thinking and reflecting on the whole Digitally Sassy and how I can best serve you and provide you with the information and tools and resources that you need to build your business. And I was feeling like I'm missing something here. My podcast has been released weekly for almost a year now. Coming up in September will be a year. This was episode 43. And when you first start any content creation in an area, you have lots of content and you have lots of ideas and you have lists of things you're going to talk about. But I think you'll relate. And if you're just getting going, you might not relate yet, but you will. You start working on what am I going to talk about this week? And to me, that becomes less meaningful. And the quality of the content is less meaningful. So that had me really thinking in terms of, is this the best way I can serve you? I have had an aha moment. And it's funny, you sort of put things on hold. I haven't even been really posting much in social media at all. Even though I kept, I've been doing my podcasts, I haven't been telling about it. So what happens when you don't tell anyone you've done something? Nobody knows, you don't grow, right? So I knew that was not the best practice, but I needed that time just to figure things out. And my aha came. And it came from listening to a podcast that was new to me called Podcast Accelerator. So it's a fellow out of the UK who is basically providing tips on podcasting. So if you're interested in podcasting, it's really good. He has a short format show, so they're all kind of 10 minutes and under. But he said 2 things in a couple of the episodes I was listening to. And the first one was the 80-20 rule. 20% of your time is on your original content, so your blogs, your video, your podcasts, etc. And the 80% is then promoting them and sharing them and talking about them and entering into discussions with people for that 80%, right? And that makes sense. There's no point, I think, being on social media if you're not being social, right? I know it's part of the grind and it's part of the game, and there's all kinds of strategies around that whole social media, but it is social media. The other thing that really grabbed me was what he termed, and I'm borrowing that from him, the content hamster wheel. Have you felt like you're on a content hamster wheel? It's where you know you have to produce because you've set a schedule and you don't want to let anyone down and you're doing it. But what I have noticed when I stopped, let's take my Instagram account, which is not huge. I haven't grown it very, very big because I'm sort of toying with it a little bit. But anyways, by not posting anything for the last 3 weeks, I haven't lost any followers, right? But having a content wheel that I guess that you are in charge of, or is it in charge of you? Producing content to me is really important, that it's relevant for you, because I'm doing this for you. I'm probably a bit of an exception because I'm not really in this to make a sale or make money. I'm in this to support other women who are beginning to work online. And you may pay it forward one day. That would be great. But you get caught up in this content hamster wheel where you feel you have to produce. And then the pressure is on. And every week, and you're rearranging your schedule and things for that. What I've come up with, and I'm really excited about this thought, is I've got a lot in the can now, almost a year podcasting. And although I've been doing it weekly, people don't notice if you don't show up sometimes because there's so much out there. The world has changed. The internet has changed a lot, particularly in the last 5 years. And so if, a lot of people who listen to other podcasts quite regularly don't necessarily notice if something isn't produced. You don't notice these days as much if a blogger didn't blog that week, right? So I'm hopping off. I'll let you know how it goes. But I'm hopping off that content hamster wheel. It does not mean I'm not podcasting. This podcast is going to go on. I enjoy doing this. But I want to do it when it's meaningful, when there is some discussion that we're having that I can dive into deeper, that I can provide you with updated information, and I can go a little bit further with some of the topics. So when am I going to release this podcast? Well, this is probably against a lot of people's theories or strategies, but I'm going to release it maybe weekly. What day of the week? I don't know. I might not do it weekly. I might do it every 2 weeks. It may be every 3 weeks. We'll have to see. I'm going to release this podcast to you when I think it will be valuable to you. And then I want to spend my other 80% interacting with you. I want to hear what you're doing. I want to know where your frustrations are. I want to support the ladies that are in my Facebook groups and build some online courses for you and those sort of things, so to help you move your business forward. The podcast is a piece of it, but it doesn't have to be a content wheel that is limiting me from doing these other things with you. And that is really freeing. So it might be something to think about as well if you are feeling like you're scrambling for topics or you're not putting in the quality time because you've got such a tight schedule. Will it be the end of the world for people? Probably not. Will they notice? I don't know. Likely not. There might be a few that do, but likely not. And will it help you be better at what you're doing? I think so. I really do. So once you have that, some depth of content and you've got your systems up and going, don't be tied into that hamster wheel. You can jump off it and still be successful. I am sure of that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm jumping off that hamster wheel because I want to deliver stuff that is really good, that you're really going to enjoy and be really helpful. And some of that is going to be the podcast, yes, but some of it's going to be some of those other things I want to do as well. And build the audience so I can reach more women and spend more time doing that, being social on social network. Imagine that. So that's what I'm doing. It's kind of interesting. I'd love to hear your feedback. Please pop on over. I have 2 Facebook groups you can join. One is the International Digitally Sassy, and it's called Digitally Sassy. Then I have a group in the province where I live called Alberta Digitally Sassy. So if you're living in Alberta, come on over and join the Alberta Digitally Sassy group and have a discussion. Let me know what you think. This is, in some mindsets, this might be a little bit radical, but really, I think if I am delivering better stuff, quality stuff, more stuff, if I'm able to listen to what you need, I can do a better job for you. And that's what I'm thinking. Anyways, you guys, thanks very much and have an awesome week. Take care. Hey, if you liked what you heard today in the podcast, please pop over to iTunes and leave a review. For show notes and resources mentioned, please visit digitallysassy.com. Cheers.